How are you? Oh me, oh my. This is awesome. Okay, friends, I want to celebrate with you. I want to share with you something that's really exciting. Today is a big day for me. Today is my 3,500th day clean and sober. Can you believe it? Can you imagine? This is where we are. This is where we've come. I can't I can't believe we started from the bottom and now we're here. So I wanted to talk to you today. I wanted to come live. I wanted to give you an update. It's been a hot minute. My friends, my name is Jason. This is the Outstanding Life Show. Here we talk about recovery. We talk about addiction. We talk about mindfulness. We talk about overcoming adversity and some of those challenges that I've faced over the years. At the time, I would have told you that these were impossible, that these were things that no one can accomplish. And I look back and I count my blessings. I'm filled with gratitude that despite the challenges, despite the insanity, despite what I thought was impossible, I've I've stuck to it. I've worked the program. I've worked the steps. I've gone to meetings. I can't even count how many meetings I've been to, but it is possible. There is a light. There is room in this world for you, and there's room in this world for me. And we can do this. We can make it through the most challenging, difficult, the hardest, humbling experiences. I can't imagine what it's like. I was talking with someone earlier this week, and I was reminiscing that if it wasn't for my recovery, if it wasn't for the hard work in putting into the program, I don't know if I would have been as resilient as I had been over these past couple of years. And it sounds weird to say out loud. I never thought of those experiences as something that I would need or as something that I would come to rely on outside of the program. I never thought that being humble and grateful would give me that solid foundation that I would come to rely on, especially during 2020 and then over the past year, 2 years, but of much more deeper roots. I've developed this much more hard rock that I've come to know, like, and trust. And I've come to believe that if I can do these things, then you can too. And that might come from a small win. That might come to and here's today's topic. I want to talk to you today about milestones. And milestones, they can be they can be big in the world of recovery and addiction. In every meeting, if you've never been to one, in every meeting, in every program or support group, they'll always celebrate the newcomer. They'll always celebrate somebody who's here picking up their chip for the 24 hours. So the first 24 hours is the hardest 24 hours. I agree wholeheartedly. That decision to become clean and sober, to make a life that's outstanding, to decide to walk in the direction of progress, that is really hard in the first 90 days. In fact, that's why there's often you'll hear it where someone will say, if you can make it to 90 support meetings in 90 days, then you'll be putting yourself into that position where you'll find that support, you'll find that connection, you'll find that you'll hear something in that first 90 meetings that will keep you coming back. And that's the kind of motivation that I needed, especially in the beginning, especially when I was still trying to discover my emotions and map them out and to help clearly understand or to help develop that understanding of my emotion so that I can carve it into something else other than just pain and regret and frustration and negativity. I lived a very negative lifestyle. I was very poor with my hygiene. I wasn't looking after myself or my mental well-being. I wasn't in a position where I was proud of who I was or some of the decisions that I've made. My addiction led me to some very poor places, and there's milestones that you take pride in, and the first day of sobriety was a big one, and that was a milestone that I celebrated time and time again. There's times where I would say, like, I would quit drinking, and then I would relapse, or I would say I'm gonna stop, and then I don't, and that would only last till that weekend or until payday. I don't know if you can relate to any of this, where some of the hardest decisions I've had to make, I've made time and time again, to the point where it lowers your expectation of yourself. It reduces your you start rounding down in your assumptions as to what you can do. And having a milestone to look forward to, having something that you can take pride in, something that you can celebrate. And while 24 hours doesn't sound like much in the world of recovery and addiction, 24 hours is huge. 24 hours is enough time that when you can go to sleep and you can wake up and you can continue to make that choice. You can continue to further support that decision that this is a lifestyle you don't want to keep living, that there's something else out there for you to want to achieve, that there's something else out there for us to accomplish. And it doesn't have to include alcohol or other drugs. And that 24 hours is tough. I think for the first 90 days, I didn't even think it was true, or I didn't think it was real. I somehow thought that it was some that at any moment I could have just changed my mind and I could have picked up drinking all over again without even a lot of work or without even a lot of, like, effort. And that sounds weird. Why would I wanna do that? Why would I wanna surround myself with that? And keeping myself going to meetings, g attending rehab, and getting professional help by talking to somebody, by reaching out and admitting that I couldn't do it alone. Those were milestones too. And I fast forward to today and I look back at some of those. It takes a lot to admit that you're an alcoholic and you're an addict. It takes a lot to admit that you can't do it alone. And it's not an easy decision. And that's a milestone that I'm proud of, that I've openly admitted this is something that I can't do alone. I'm proud that I reached out for help, and I'm proud that I'm here today to share with you that this too is possible. You know, maybe somebody out there is starting day 1 today, and maybe somebody out there is celebrating 90 days. They're all milestones. And another topic I wanted to talk about is the idea of bad milestones. So when I think of milestones, I never think of anything bad, but if I were to manifest a negative experience and call that a milestone, it's easy for me now. It becomes easier if I label something as a bad milestone. And I it's like that cliff where I approach, if I'm in a car and I'm approaching a cliff and I'm getting closer and closer to the edge of the cliff, I start to get anxious. I start to get worried. I start being afraid of falling. And like the cliff isn't what's gonna harm me. I'm not gonna die from a cliff itself. There's nothing scary about a cliff. But if I'm approaching the cliff, it's falling off the cliff. That's the scary part. That's what's the danger is. That's where my fight or flight is response is kicking into high gear. And when I take that and I run with it in terms of bad milestones, the bad milestones themselves, they're not the ones that are trauma. It's reliving it in my head that becomes traumatic. And so if I'm If I'm labeling something as a bad milestone, that's not fault of my own. I might have had an experience that is bad, and that might have jeopardized my safety or my health, but that's not indicative of who I am or who I can become. I can attach a new meaning. I can carve a new fate. And despite the experiences that I've been through and despite the challenges we've all had to face, 2020 was hard on everyone, but we're all here still. We've made it. And if you were to ask me 3,500 days ago whether or not this was possible, I would tell you no. There's no way this is possible. There's no way I'm going to survive 2020. There's no way I'm going to survive a year in sobriety. Now I'm coming up on multiple years over and over again. But if I were to going back to the milestones, if I were to only look at my life from one series of train wrecks to another, that is a way to measure time. Like I could emerge time as like from one train wreck to another train wreck. So if I've got train wreck number one here and I've got train wreck number two here, this here between the two is time. But that doesn't mean that's the total line of my fate. That doesn't mean that's all that life has for me. There's more to life out there than just train wrecks. There's more to life out there than just 2020. So if I have one bad milestone, that doesn't mean that all milestones forever are going to be bad. Sure, there might be crappy moments, there might be crappy days, but it doesn't have to be a crappy year. It doesn't have to be a crappy decade. And that's how I live my life. And that's how I've chosen to choose a better fate. I don't want that. I want something more. I want something to be proud of. I want something that I can look back, smile, and be grateful for. And that's why I'm here today. And that's why you're here today. And I love that. I love that you're here and I love that I'm here. This last year, the last 2 years were harder than anything I could imagine. But I'm confident in my belief that if it wasn't for going through the rehearsal of addiction and recovery and working on my steps in the foundation, building that sense of gratitude, that's what helped pave the way for me to succeed in the time we are now. But I don't think I could have done that if it wasn't for recovery, if it wasn't for addiction, if it wasn't for having that supportive community. All of these things work together. All of these milestones, all these big wins are huge, but so too are the bad milestones. Those are things that help me grow. I don't know. What about you? What are your thoughts? What are you guys thinking? Hey Kitty, how are you? What's going on? Hi. My cat's hungry. Okay, my friend Laura is here. So proud of you, buddy. Thank you, Laura. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here. Kitty's proud of me too. Thank you, Laura, for being here. I really appreciate that. Hi. What are you doing? Another thing I want to talk about is can you avoid milestones? And what happens when a milestone approaches? So if I were to go and say, can I avoid a milestone? Those are hard. There are some milestones that I measure things in terms of value. Is somebody adding value to my life or not? So my friend Laura, as an example, she's adding significant value to my life. And I really appreciate Laura. Laura adds a lot to my life from being a supportive friend, being a member of the supportive community and ally to the recovery and addiction space. Oh my God, my cat's hilarious. But my friend Laura, I really appreciate her. I appreciate what she stands for and all the value that she adds, everything she's going through. It's showing this sense of resilience. And if I were to flash back to early days before my recovery, if I flash back to my active addiction, and if I were to look at time and look at friendships then, I don't see them in the same terms as I do now. And what I mean by that is my friend Laura and I, we were friends years and years and years ago. But even though I haven't seen my friend Laura in what seemed like forever and a day, I feel closer to her her more than ever. And I think that's awesome. And I think that can come from recovery. That comes from gratitude. That comes from building the solid foundation by going through turmoil, by going through, I want to say, working through my resentments and building that foundation. I've said that a couple times, but I'm firmly believe I firmly believe that if it wasn't for my recovery, I don't think I would have made it past the last couple of years, 2 or 3 years. I think it would have been super challenging to the point where I don't know. I wouldn't have developed the skills, the tenacity, the resilience. And I feel all those tools came from all those milestones. So if I think about, can I avoid a milestone? I could. I could just avoid it. Like I could in my, if I have a milestone here and I have a milestone here and time goes by, I may not be able to just avoid it, but I can stop and recognize it for what it is, a lesson that helps me grow. Even if it's not something I'm proud of, I can develop in a direction of progress. I can choose to take this on not as a I don't want to call it a resentment minefield, but I can choose to take these difficult situations and I can mold it into something that's progressive. They're molding it into something that pushes me forward. I don't always have to be filled with anger and resentment. I don't have to always be filled with negativity. And if I look back at early recovery, that's all I was filled with. I think that's what led me through my active addiction was these emotions, these I don't want to call it rage, but there's times where I didn't understand my emotions and how I chose to express them wasn't healthy. The friends I was surrounding myself with, the family I had pushed away, these were things I'm not proud of. Those are milestones that I'm not proud of. But can I avoid them? No. But what I can do is look at things from a different perspective. And I'm not just saying change your perspective. No. What I'm saying is maybe we can add value and add more meaning to our decisions so that when we presented with the same choice later on, we can make different choices. I can make better choices. I can still fail, but I can fail forward. And I can't do that if I give up. I can't do that if I'm just relapsing every weekend, which is what I did for many, many years. I'm grateful for my friend Laura. I'm grateful for my supportive community. I don't know if you can understand, but rather than being afraid of milestones, things I'm not proud of, these poor decisions that I've made, instead I'm choosing to focus on here are some amazing things I've been able to accomplish with what I have. Here's the amazing things I'm grateful for while the sun is shining. You know, it sounds silly, but it's not snowing outside anymore. It snowed the week before, but it's not snowing outside right now. For that, I'm grateful. You know, I baked bread the other day. I'm grateful for that. I haven't done baked bread in like a year, but I'm grateful that I have the opportunity where I can do that. These are mini milestones that I'm very much appreciative for. And I can't do that if I'm only focusing on bad milestones. I can't do that if I'm focusing on fear, resentment, and negativity. I have to think about the positive things too. Okay, hold on. Oh, hello. My friend Dion is here. Hello, Dion. How are you? My friend Dion says, I have come such a long way after my divorce and my health. You've made great progress, Dion. I'm so proud of you. Great work, Jason. Thank you, Dion. I really appreciate that. And then Dion says, I count my blessings every day. Oh, I appreciate you too. And I add you to my blessings, Dion. Dion is fantastic. Yes, yes, you are. Okay, another topic for today, just before we wrap up, is about leaving behind bad milestones. What better topic to talk about? Bad milestones, leaving them behind and moving forward with micro wins. Micro wins. I really didn't know how to describe this. I was thinking of a way to say a micro commitment, and then I thought a micro win. That That's something we could focus on rather than be upset about something that I'm not proud of or something because I had relapsed. I can't even count how many times before I finally was like, okay, enough's enough. And there's like 1,000 deaths, there's like 1,000 turmoil events, and every time I relapsed, it just got worse and worse and worse. And here's where by moving forward, I celebrated just that 24 hours in front of me, like that 2 inches in front of my face. You know, if I can't think of a whole year, maybe I can focus on the 2 inches in front of me. Maybe I can just be sober for just right now. Maybe I can just not drink for tonight and tonight only. And as I made more of those decisions, every day I kept coming back. Every day I kept going to more meetings. And then one day turned into 20 and then 30 and then 31. And now here I am on day 3,500. Holy crap. It's amazing. I never would have thought that was possible. I never thought that that was something achievable. And yet here we are. Maybe I can't celebrate 7,000 tomorrow, but if I take a minute, breathe, and appreciate, and then celebrate just today. And today is not that big of a celebration because it's a micro commitment compared to 3,000 days. But I can celebrate a micro commitment. I can celebrate a micro decision. I can make a little bit of effort to walk in that direction of progress. And I can celebrate that I've made the decision that this is something I'm going to go do. Maybe I'm not going to get there yet, but I will get there one day. I'm never going to get there if I never make the decision. So I'm thankful and I'm appreciative of those people I encounter on the way, like Laura, like Dion, but I'm also able to make friends along the way who are also helping themselves. Like they're celebrating their micro wins, they're celebrating their tiny losses. But as we move forward together. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I'm not sure if this is. But we can leave behind our bad milestones as we celebrate micro wins. And we can do that together. Okay, my friends. Yes. So, as we wrap up, do you love tacos? If you do, let me know. Tacos are one of my big favorite meals, and I'm considering having a virtual taco party. We had one before, and it was amazing, and I think we could do it again. It'd be even more fun. So, a virtual taco party, because I know not everyone is close by, but I think it would be fun if we can got enough people who are interested. We could all have tacos together. Like we can have was it Taco Bell or maybe we can make homemade tacos? I think that would be fun. If you are, let me know. This would be all sorts of fun. Okay, my friends, if you want to know more, go check out the website. We have outstanding.life is the website. And we also have a link down below. It's sobriety.live/now. There we have a list of everything. We got links to the videos, we got links to the blog, and then we also have more of these live videos. Or if you're interested, if you're on the social medias, we have the Twitters, and that's where I'm located, Red Skittle Blue. All right, my friends, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. Thank you, Dion, and thank you, Laura, for being here. I really appreciate that. If this added value, let me know. I look forward to seeing you guys in another video. But in the meantime, you take care and you have fun. I'll catch you later. Bye bye.